Welcome to Distress to Joyful, Bailey's Way. I'm your host, Bailey Raber, here to enlighten you and the rest of the world about one of the most misunderstood mental health disorders out there, bipolar disorder. In each episode, we'll learn more about my personal journey with bipolar 2 disorder, how I've struggled with it, and how I've learned to overcome those struggles. Together, we'll laugh, we'll cry, and most importantly, we'll have fun. You'll leave each episode feeling hopeful and stocked full of useful information on how you can better yourself and the world around you. Hello, friends. So, if you're on YouTube right now, you're probably wondering, what the hell am I wearing? So I'm recording on my birthday. Today's my birthday, December 25th, unfortunately Christmas Day. But one of the things that I started doing about 5 years ago, 5 years ago now, is I do an annual birthday photo shoot to just celebrate me and my birthday and another year passing, because why the hell not? Why do I need a reason to do this? I don't. So when I started doing this back in 2018, I made 2 different birthday outfits back then, and I went and paid a photographer and had a whole thing done. And then I just made it a thing ever since. And y'all know I'm a fashion designer. I'm in school for that. That's what I love doing. So what better excuse to make myself a brand new outfit and to go have my picture taken than my fucking birthday? What better excuse? So this year, I've actually combined my birthday suit from 2020 when I was turning 27 and I showed up in my birthday suit. I combined that with this really sequin sparkly romper. So if you're on YouTube, you're seeing me show it off right now. And if not, then go to What Is Hey Bales Doing on Instagram and you can see what I'm talking about. But anyways, I combined the two because I didn't have time to make a whole brand new outfit this year. And you know what? That's okay. That's okay. This romper that I'm wearing, this black sequin romper, I was supposed to have finished for New Year's for 2022. Your girl didn't do it. I didn't do it. I was literally so close. Y'all, all I had left to do was finish the hem of these pants on the romper and I was done. And I just didn't do it. And so I decided, you know what? Now's the time. Now's the time. Because instead of stressing and making a whole new outfit from scratch like I originally wanted to do, I took a step back and said, look, this last semester, this fall 22 semester has been really fucking hard. Lots of challenges. I took on way too much, way more than I should have. So why am I doing this to myself? Why? Nobody is forcing me to take 8 hours of my time to make a whole new goddamn outfit. So why am I doing this to myself? Why? So I decided not to. I decided, you know what? I can combine some things and still have a great time and still have a great photo shoot. And that's exactly what I'm going to do when I'm done here with you. I'm going to go and I'm going to take the photos on my birthday, which normally I do it before my birthday. But you know what? It is what it is. Life doesn't always go as planned. And so you just learn to roll with it. And that's what I'm working on doing. And so I hope that this is kind of like a little mini pep talk for you too, especially leading into the new year, which is about to happen. Oh my God, where has the time gone? All right, anyways, so a couple more announcements before we move into today's episode. I have my handy dandy little notes here, which I'm getting better about. So those of y'all on YouTube, you get to see me reading things off occasionally. It is what it is. Oh my God. Speaking of my birthday and everything. So since I am done with school until the beginning of next month, January, wow. I've actually been spending a lot of time traveling. I was in India recently. Some of you guys know I went back and it was super great. But I've had a lot of free time, and I especially had free time while in India, which was super amazing this time because last time it was just go, 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 do all the things. So in this newfound free time that I have, I've started pumping out some more blog posts, and one of which is actually about Yep, you guessed it, the birthday photo shoots that I do. So if you're curious, if you are interested in doing one for yourself, which I totally recommend, head on over to whatisheybales.com/the-blog, and you can find the article titled 4 Fabulous Birthday Photoshoot Ideas. I've also started pumping out some more other things, a lot more things that have let me try this again. I'm working on posting about more things than just mental health because, yeah, that's what I talk about with you guys all day long. And I love it. I do. But it's more than me. There's so many parts of me. That is why my website is What Is Hey Bells Doing? I am doing 1,000,001 goddamn things. So I'm trying to be more active in writing about all the things that I do and not just focusing on one aspect of my life. And so this is something I hope that you guys will enjoy. And if not, then oh well, I'm still going to do it. So if you're curious as to what all I've been working on, again, head on over to whatisheybellsdoing.com. And then another thing I wanted to tell you guys about. So throughout 2022, I made it a goal to start being a guest on other people's podcasts. That's one of the things I really wanted to do was to start showing up on other people's podcasts, telling my story through them. I have made so many awesome connections by doing this, y'all. So many. One of which was, her name is J. Michelle. She is the host of the Mind Talk podcast, and she had me on her show to talk about bipolar disorder in teens. So those of you who know my story and who've listened, from day one, all of the episodes up until now, you know that I was diagnosed with bipolar 2 disorder when I was a teenager. And so that was hard. That was really fucking hard. Mental health back then, 10, 15 years ago, was not what it is today. Sitting down and talking with her, I kind of went over the things that I wish other people would have done for me back then, most specifically the adults in my life. Because when you're a teenager, you don't know what the fuck's going on. You don't know what you're doing. And let's be real here. As adults, we still don't know either. But as teenagers, we look to adults for guidance and for help and for all of the things. And I didn't have that. I really didn't have anyone to help me navigate this really difficult transition in my life as, being diagnosed with a mental health disorder as a fucking teenager, which is already hard enough, minus a mental health disorder. So, especially guys, if you have teenagers, whether or not they have any kind of mental health disorder or anything like that, please, please, please do your child a favor and tune into this episode with me and J. Michelle on the Mind Talk podcast just to get a different insight. I think perspective is so important, and I think it is really important that we learn the perspective of others in order to better understand them and to better help them. Why else are we in this world than to communicate and connect and love each other, right? Right. All right. So let's go ahead and dive into today's episode. Sobriety and bipolar disorder equals the way to go. The way to go. So first of all, I would like to start by saying that, hi, my name is Bailey, and I used to be an alcoholic. Yeah, I did. And so I started drinking back when I was 16. I was finding alcohol at parties back then, and I attended all of these behind my parents' back. They never knew. They probably know they probably know now. I'm sure somebody has tuned into this podcast and said something to them. But back then, I don't think that they really had an idea, at least not for the first couple of years. They did find out by the time I was a senior in high school. But hey, that's another story for another day. So at first, I began drinking as a way of rebelling against my parents because, they always taught me that alcohol was bad. Like, that's what I learned from my parents. That's what I learned from church. And so I did it because I'm like, you know what? Let me find out. Why is alcohol so bad? Nobody ever told me why. I mean, they kind of did, but it's one of those things where I wasn't explained it as like, hey, alcohol can cause you to have sex with strangers. Alcohol can cause you to have car accidents. I was never explained things like that. I was explained that alcohol is a sin, so you don't do it. That's it. Y'all, these things don't work because then what did I do? I turned around and said, let me find out for myself. Let me figure out for myself how this really feels and what this really does. So from there, it quickly became a serious issue. And y'all, I was never a casual drinker. I always drank to get drunk. And until I turned 21, I would always go out of my way to find parties every damn weekend where I could go and I could drink. Because even though I wouldn't admit it to myself back then, I had an addiction and it was bad. It was real bad. But I wouldn't let myself drink at home alone. Only when I was with other people because, quote, only alcoholics drink alone. So if I drink with other people, I can't be an alcoholic. No, there's no way. That's not me. I'm not that. Y'all, just so you're aware, the National Institute on Alcohol Abuse and Alcoholism defines heavy drinking as, for men, consuming more than 4 drinks on any day or more than 14 drinks in an entire week. And for women, it is consuming more than 3 drinks on any day or more than 7 drinks per week. 7 drinks per week. That's all it takes to be considered an alcoholic. So, therefore, by this standard, yeah, y'all, I was a motherfucking alcoholic. Like I was. There's just no way around it. So then, what's the issue with alcohol? Well, friend, I am so glad that you asked, because here are a few real-life examples of problems that alcohol abuse caused for me. The first one being engaging in risky behaviors with complete strangers, including, but not limited to, sex, stupid stunts that, quote, sounded like fun, that were actually dangerous, or getting in the car with somebody who had been drinking, etc. Like, there's so many ways that I engaged in behaviors that, had I not been drunk, I probably wouldn't have done. Another thing was getting behind the wheel of my own car after drinking or while being drunk. Starting fights with strangers or friends because I was drunk. And oh my God, let me just tell y'all about one incident where that occurred. Oh man, so I remember, I think I was 17. I'm pretty sure I was a junior in high school. I was at a party at my friend's house. I'm not going to use any real names in this. But I was at a party that my friend was throwing. Her dad was out of town. She had this big ass house. There was a pool. Like, everything was great. It was fun until I got super drunk and blacked out. Like, I don't remember what led up to this moment, but for some reason, this one girl, I'm going to call her, I don't know, I'm going to call her Susie. Susie made me really mad for some reason. I was fucking blackout drunk. I had no idea. So I had a beer in my hand and I went to go throw my beer on Susie, and instead it landed on Kylie. And so what happened from there is, I meant to hit Susie, not Kylie. Well, Kylie got pissed. And so Kylie then literally came over and started pulling my hair, and like an actual fucking physical fight took place. That's the only time in my life that I have ever done that. And y'all, it was bad. Like, it was bad. And that's kind of when I came to, was when me and Kylie, not her real name, but when me and Kylie were fighting, like fist fighting. Like, what the fuck? I don't do that. I'd never done that before. And to this day, I'd still never done that. And all of it ended with me getting pushed into a pool at some point. All the way in my clothes with my fucking phone in my hand, you guys. I remember coming out of the pool like this with my BlackBerry Pearl in my hand. Yeah, this was in like 2011. For all y'all who don't know what the fuck a BlackBerry Pearl was, look it up. But I remember coming out of the pool with it up like this because I'd been pushed into the pool with my clothes on, with my fucking phone in my hand because of a fight that got started because I was blackout drunk. Yeah. Like, completely unnecessary, so stupid. It caused rifts in this friendship. This friendship was never the same after that. Because before, Kylie and I were friends. We were really cool. And real fucking quick, that disappeared. Real quick. Some other instances include waking up in places that were unknown to me without my car being around, so I was basically stranded. That happened on multiple occasions, waking up in somebody else's house. That was not the party that I was at the night before, that I didn't know how the fuck I got there, that I didn't have my keys, I didn't have my car, my purse wasn't even there. What the fuck? What the fuck? Had I not been drunk, that wouldn't have happened. But because I was, it did. Some of these instances, showing up places or waking up places unknown to me, actually caused me to be late for work because I was a server and oh my God, or back when I worked at the daycare or whatever, like if I'm somewhere and I don't have access to my vehicle, I can't leave. So if I have to be at work, I'm fucked, literally fucked. That happened a couple of times when I was younger. And looking back now, I'm so embarrassed about that, but also like, what the fuck was I thinking, dude? Oh, wait, I wasn't. I was drunk. That's the problem. That is the problem right there. And y'all, oh my God, we haven't even scratched the surface on my past issues with hypersexuality, which don't worry, we will dive well into this simultaneously juicy and cringy topic in season 4 of the show. But looking back, I engaged in sex with some creepy ass dudes because I was drunk. And I wasn't thinking clearly. And I look back and I'm like, thank God none of them actually knocked me up or anything, because that would have been a super tragic disaster. Super tragic. But guys, that's the thing. That is the thing. When you are drinking, you don't fucking care. You don't care who you're with. You don't care what's going on. You don't care to use a condom. You don't care to make sure that this dude who you've never met before, who all of a sudden you're fucking, you don't care that he pulls out. You just don't fucking care because you're drunk and you're horny and you just want to get laid. So you make bad fucking decisions. Bad decisions around more than just sex, guys. This is just a huge example that I'm using. But you know, guys, just a quick little side note. I am still to this day working on forgiving myself for this person that I used to be back when I used to drink. So please know that if you have ever engaged in similar behaviors, that first of all, you're not alone. You are not alone. That's why I'm sitting here telling you about this. So that way you know that you are not alone. But also, if you feel any regrets, like kind of how I do right now, then please know that it is necessary to do the work towards healing from this and forgiving yourself, because you're worth it. You are worth it, and you deserve to love and be loved. And first you have to forgive yourself. You have to forgive yourself. And to be honest, that's still something I'm struggling on a little bit, because I had some really, really, really hard times for years, and there's a lot I need to forgive myself for. So it's a process, but I'm in it. And, you know, if you're there, you should consider it too, because again, you're worth it. Okay, so let's move into the relationship between alcohol and bipolar disorder. So there's a little research. Let's go ahead and dive into that real quick. And I found a very informative article on alcoholrehabguide.org, which begins by stating the following. Alcohol and bipolar disorder have a close and complex relationship. Few mental health disorders are as closely associated with alcohol abuse as bipolar disorder. Yeah, okay, that is fucking intense. All right, so why is that? They go on to say that people who suffer from bipolar disorder often feel out of control or out of touch with their life. Unsure of what to do or how to feel when an episode occurs makes turning to alcohol a very appealing solution in relieving these mind-numbing symptoms. Alcohol helps calm nerves, especially in social settings, so it can possibly relieve the negative symptoms of bipolar disorder temporarily, yet can increase the chances of worsening the disorder later on. Okay, so I have never needed alcohol in social settings because I am a goddamn social butterfly. Yes, I am. But I can attest that I was definitely drinking a lot back in the day to help relieve the negative symptoms associated with my bipolar disorder. But guys, so here's where the issue lies with bipolar disorder and alcohol. FYI, in case you didn't already know this, that alcohol is a depressant. So while it might help to lift you up and feel good in the moment, when you come down, you will come crashing down with a massive bang, and you will end up feeling so much worse than when you first picked up that drink. You will feel so much worse than when you first picked up that drink. God damn it. Why is that so hard to say? Oh my God. So then what happens is, because you feel worse than when you started, you go back to it again. And it creates a vicious cycle that is so hard to break. Trust me from experience. It's hard to break. And additionally, the same article goes on to say that alcohol is known to intensify bipolar disorder due to its sedating effects. It acts similarly to some medications, risking feelings of depression with each swig of alcohol. Alcohol also greatly increases the severity of mania, which many who suffer from bipolar find extremely pleasurable. Although alcohol can increase the negative effects of bipolar disorder in either direction, flaming the fire with each sip. If you want to check out this article for yourself, be sure to check out the show notes, and you will find this article as well as the next ones that I'm about to mention. Because let's go ahead and talk about alcohol and bipolar medications. Let's talk about this. So I found a different article on verywellhealth.com that is titled Bipolar Disorder and Alcohol. What's the connection? So this article talks about some of the same topics while also bringing up the topic of alcohol and bipolar meds. So this article goes on to state that mood stabilizers are the main treatment for bipolar disorder. A healthcare provider may prescribe mood stabilizers to help treat symptoms of bipolar disorder, especially mania. Some of these medications include lithium, lamotrigine, atypical antipsychotics, yada, yada, yada. There's a long list of them on this website if you want to check it out. Then they say that combining alcohol with mood stabilizers is not recommended as the interactions can cause increased drowsiness, memory issues, impaired judgment, or liver problems. Yeah, guys, I can't even lie to you. I can't lie. And I knew this. I knew this fact that alcohol is not recommended when taking mood stabilizers. I knew this because as soon as I was diagnosed with bipolar 2 disorder and was prescribed some meds, my psychiatrist at the time, Dr. Patel, informed me that I should avoid alcohol because it's really not good to mix it with my meds. And back then, I always lied and I said, oh, well, I don't drink, because I feared that if I told any healthcare providers the truth, that they would then tell my parents, who would fucking ground me for life, if not murder me. I was so scared of my parents finding out about me and alcohol that I always lied, which, probably caused a lot more harm and more trouble than had I just said something. Oh, man. So my personal journey with sobriety and why I recommend it for you. So let's talk about this, because this is the whole reason for this episode here, is to talk about why I finally chose to stop drinking. I say finally because I probably should have done it years prior, but you know what? It is what it is. This is life. This is the journey that I'm on, and I want to tell you about it. And I also want to recommend it for you. So this next bit where I talk about my sobriety, I just really want you to take a deep, close listen, because whether or not you have bipolar disorder, I have some really great points to bring up that I hope will resonate, or at least get those wheels turning in your brain for you, okay? So I have a little perceived Q&A here for you based upon questions that I am often asked when I tell people that I don't drink. So let's go ahead and dive into this. So the first question being, when did you stop drinking? And my answer is I stopped drinking in January of 2019. So, damn, that's almost what? That's almost 4 years. Wow. Holy shit. Okay. So, why did you start? So, why did you stop drinking? Well, I'm glad you asked, but I initially stopped drinking because I did dry January. So I don't know if you guys have heard of dry January, but that's when you cut out alcohol for the entire month of January. And it's kind of like a New Year's thing, like a fresh start to the year. And I did it just to help me lose weight. That's why. I had no intentions of giving up alcohol at the time. I literally was just trying to lose weight. And it helped. It really did. Those of y'all who know me personally or have seen any of my journey on any of my social media accounts, 2019 was the year that I hit my weight loss goal and I lost 50 pounds and everything was fucking great. And the start of it was this, January 2019, cutting out alcohol. That was a huge, huge kickstart to my weight loss journey. And I actually ended up losing 9 pounds that month. And I think a lot of it had to do with I changed my eating and I cut out all of those excess calories that come along with drinking, guys. So the next question being, so you just didn't drink ever again after this? Now, this is a fun question because I did. I did drink again after January 2019, but not in the way you might think. So on February 1st, 2019, I went over to a friend's house and I drank 2 glasses of wine. I'm like, you know what? Dry January's done. I stopped drinking. I did it. I went the whole month without drinking. I really did. I was so proud of myself. So what did I do? I went and rewarded myself with some fucking wine. Yeah, go figure. So I got drunk on 2 glasses of wine. Yeah, that was insane. And I woke up feeling so hungover and I hated it. I hated how I felt. I really did. And so after that incident, I really kind of didn't feel like drinking very much anymore. I maybe got drunk like 1 or 2 more times after this. And then I decided, you know what? I fucking hate feeling hungover. I hate it. It feels gross. And so I don't want to feel that way anymore. So I'm not going to drink. And that was that. So, how did you manage to not go back? My answer being that every time I thought about having a beer or a glass of wine, I would remember how fucking awful my last hangover was. And I used this shitty memory as a warning to myself that if I chose to drink right now, which even 1 or 2 glasses would get me drunk because I'm a lightweight now because your girl doesn't drink anymore. So if I chose to drink, that shitty feeling would be waiting for me tomorrow morning. And fuck that. Big ol' fuck that. So therefore, I wouldn't pick up the drink. Literally, it is as simple as that. And it might sound hard right now, especially if you are caught up like I was in just drinking all the time. But cutting out alcohol for a whole month and then going back to it, it allowed my body to detox enough to where that hangover feeling that I was so used to previously, I was no longer used to it. So then I felt it in like full throttle effect and it fucking sucked. It fucking sucked. So that memory was enough to keep me away. And to this day, seriously, I have been offered so many times and I've been peer pressured so many times. And my answer is no. I like feeling good. I like feeling good. I do not like feeling hungover. So I'm not going to do it. I'm not. Not even on a special occasion. You won't have a glass of champagne. Yeah, literally, I put that as my next perceived question because I get asked that all the time. And I just want to first off stop and say, if you drink alcohol and you are with somebody who says that they don't drink alcohol, leave them alone. Leave them alone because I don't give a damn if it's a special occasion. I'm not going to drink. That is my choice. This is my body. Leave me alone. You don't know how many times people have tried to peer pressure me and over and over and over again. And it is so fucking rude. It is so rude. So if you're one of those people, I'm calling you out. Yeah, I'm calling you out because stop it. Stop. This person doesn't want to drink. Great. That's more for you. Look at it that way, but leave that person alone. You don't need to make this person feel bad over here because they don't want to drink. Because, guys, you don't know how many times people have done that to me. They've tried to make me feel bad for choosing not to drink. So I stopped hanging out with those people. I did. I walked away because I'm like, you know what? No. My people know I don't drink. They know I don't drink. And they accept that, and they love me, and they don't give a damn. Actually, you know what? I'll give you one better. I'm probably going to tear up. Because Luis, if you're listening now, like this is a shout out for you, because he came to my housewarming party back in September when we moved into a new apartment. Long story. But Luis knows that I don't drink. And so what do you do when you go to a housewarming party? Well, most of the time you just bring alcohol. That's the easiest thing to do. So Luis, knowing that I don't drink, y'all, he went out of his way to ask the wine connoisseur at HEB if there was a non-alcoholic champagne that he could bring to me. And he did. He did just that. He found non-alcoholic champagne and gifted that to me because he knows I don't drink, but he wanted me to be able to celebrate. And so he found a way for me to celebrate without having to have alcohol. And guys, that is what friends do. That is what friends do. That is a beautiful friendship. And Luis, if you're listening, again, I love you and I'm so thankful for our friendship. Because that's what friends do. Friends don't peer pressure each other to drink when they don't want to. They show up for people in the way that best suits them. And that was a way that somebody showed up for me, that Luis showed up for me in a way that suited me, not him. Luis drinks, y'all. Luis drinks, and that's okay. I don't give a damn if Luis chooses to drink. That's his life. That's on him. But the fact that he doesn't try to push me into what he does and say, hey, come have a drink with me. He instead was like, no, this is for you. This is non-alcoholic. That's what friends do. That is what friends do. So if you're listening right now and you have recently become sober or have chosen not to drink, I want you to think about that story right there about me and Luis and how Luis chose to show up for me. Because if your friends are doing the opposite, if they're pressuring you to still drink even though you don't want to, it might be time for you to take a step back and look at those friendships and say, are we really friends? Or were we just drinking buddies? Because there's a difference, guys. There's a huge difference between friends and drinking buddies. And I learned that the hard way. I learned that the hard way when I stopped drinking years ago. And so, I hope some of you guys will come to this realization sooner than I did and really step back and say, you know what? I have recently become sober. Who here actually stands with me? Because the people who stand with you, those are your friends. Those are who you should surround yourself with. Okay, that got a little bit off track. So the last question that I'm asked, and this is my favorite question when people ask me this, they ask me, do you feel better now that you've stopped drinking? So I don't get asked this all the time, but I do get asked this occasionally. And oh my God, I love it because yes, I abso-fucking-lutely feel better now that I've stopped drinking. I love it. Besides no longer feeling hungover, guys, I don't have the urge to be constantly searching for my next drink. I make better, healthier decisions on a fucking daily basis because alcohol isn't impairing my judgment. My memory has become so sharp, sometimes too sharp. Monish gets mad sometimes because I remember things way too well. But I'm also able to learn new things at a much faster pace back than when I was drinking because my brain is no longer fogged by alcohol. It is not. So guys, just to end on this, please know that if you are struggling with alcohol abuse, you are not alone. You are not alone. And I truly hope that you will get the help that you need and that tuning in today was informative or helpful or inspiring to you. And lastly, always remember that seeking help is a sign of strength. And I promise you that you are so much stronger than you know. All right, so next episode will be the last episode of season 3. It will be because, oh my God, it is almost 2023. This is insane. This is so insane. So this next episode coming up is going to be a tribute to you. Yes, to you listening or watching me right now. So it's a tribute to you and everybody else who has tuned in and showed some love to this podcast this year. Because guys, without you, I wouldn't be here right now, sitting in a cabin with my microphone and my laptop recording for you. Like I wouldn't be here without you. I really wouldn't. So you don't want to miss it. So make sure you tune in for this final episode of season 3. Again, thank you for tuning in, whether it be on YouTube right now or whichever listening platform that you prefer. Be sure to follow the show on Instagram at distress2joyful_Bailey's and also head on over to the website at whatisheybales.com to check out the show notes from this episode, where you can find all of the links to the articles mentioned throughout the show today. If you enjoy this podcast, help spread the word by leaving a rating or review, especially if you are an Apple Podcast listener, because that is, as far as I'm aware, the only platform where you can actually write a review. And I would love to hear from you and love to hear what your thoughts are. And lastly, guys, don't forget to hit the cute little subscribe button to stay up to date with all of the new episode releases. But until next time, take it easy, stay grateful, and be joyful. Bye!